Hello guys, welcome back to Watch Addiction Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the new Melbourne Chelsea dive watch, kind of a vintage inspired dive watch, which was recently released by the Australian watch company, Melbourne Watch Company, based in Melbourne, Australia. I reviewed a lot of their pieces in the past. I think they're a really cool brand, and they make a lot of unique watches. If you do remember, I did review their Moon Phase watch, which was a killer piece, and I really enjoyed that watch as well. This watch is a little different. Obviously, it's a dive watch with a kind of, vintage nod to some older traditional dive watches of the past. And I think they did a pretty good job. The price on this one is $795 Australian dollars. Depending on, what currency you're using, you're going to have to convert that. And it's a very well put together watch. Comes on a nice oyster bracelet. Comes in a very nice box, which I'll throw up a picture right now. You can see it comes in your very nice kind of luxurious Melbourne watch box, which we're used to, which is always a nice box. I don't really keep the box. I do keep the box in a closet, but I don't store the watch in a box. That's just how I do things, but it's always good to get a nice box. Now, getting into the watch itself, well, there are a few different dial variations. You have a black, a green, a white, and a blue. This is the white variation. If I get you in a little closer, you see it's kind of a grainy white. Which looks pretty cool. Those applied markers are really bold and really kind of stick out at you, which is very nice. Very easy to read and legible. This is what you really want in a dive watch that's capable of going 200 meters. This one does have the 200 meters or 20 ATMs of water resistance, screw down crown, screw down case back, and water pressure tested to 20 ATMs. So no worries with this watch. Take it to the pool, the beach, go shallow diving with it. You should have no issues. Now the case is crafted of solid 316L stainless steel, which is for the most part brushed, including the oyster bracelet as well, as you can see here. There's a little chamfering over here on the top portion of the lugs, which is polished. The case back is actually polished as well, and it does give you a glimpse of the automatic caliber that's used in this watch. Now getting into some basic specifications here, 40 millimeters, very nicely modern size. For me, modern as I'd call it. Watches have definitely spiraled downwards in terms of size over the past few years, I've noticed. So it's 40 millimeters across in terms of diameter, 46 lug to lug, which is very nice for my 6.5 inch wrist, 6.75 when it swells in the summer. We get a 20 millimeter lug width, and of course, we get a case thickness of around 12 to 13, around 13 millimeters, which is not that bad. So anyway, yeah. What's inside this watch? The dial. Let's get a closer look on the dial here. So getting a little closer in on this watch, as you can see, we do have a sapphire crystal, which is very legible. I mean, it almost appears as though there's no crystal there. I believe they did use a clear air coating on this one because I don't see that blue hue, which is very nice. Keeps it nice and clean. So yeah, the markers are applied very bold, and they do have Swiss, they call it Swiss New Light Loom. I've never heard of that before, but it glows green. It's pretty strong. It's applied on the hands. It's applied on all the markers and on the sapphire bezel, which is pretty luxurious on this watch. So you get a nice sapphire bezel along with that sapphire crystal. And yeah, just a very clean diving dial, very easy to read. Everything's very neat. I don't see any errors there. As you can see, Chelsea is printed at the 6 o'clock position. Then we have Melbourne printed below the 12 o'clock. We have that M for Melbourne counterbalance on the lollipop tip sweeping seconds hand. We have a date aperture at the 3 o'clock position, just your typical kind of dive watch in a vintage style. We get a 90 click bezel, which is a little different this time. But yeah, let me get this thing going first. So we have the Miyota 9015 inside of this watch. Crown unscrews very nicely. As you can see, they did sign the crown with the Melbourne logo. I'll show you the finishing a little closer in a little bit. But let's get this thing going here. So you have the Miyota 9015, which is a Japanese-made movement by Citizen or Miyota. You get a 4 hertz beat rate, which is 28,800 beats per hour. You get hacking, hand winding, quick set date, and it's a very reliable and very accurate movement. There she goes. One position. We can flip through the date. Okay. Then you get your hacking position when you pull out to the final position. I'm going to go ahead and set the time here. Here we go. We'll set it to 10, 10. 10, 10. Push that back down. Nice pop on the crown. Very easy to function. There are no crown guards considering it's a vintage style case. And yeah, so everything functions as it should. Now getting a little closer in on the actual finishing, nice brush work on the flanks of the case. top of the lugs and the bracelet as well. Very smooth, no errors there. Everything looks pretty good to me. As you can see, there are some little notches here on the side of the bezel to rotate it. Getting into bezel action, the bezel action is very good with minimal back play. I think it's very good, the bezel action. I have no issue with it. And everything does line up perfectly to that 12 o'clock position, which is nice to see. But yeah, pretty much a brushed diver, as you can see here. Everything is brushed besides these top portions or sides of the lugs, which have that nice polished streak there, which looks pretty nice. The bracelet itself is an oyster style bracelet, and it's quick release. I'll show you on the back side. So you can swap out this bracelet in seconds, which is very nice to see. It is using pins, this one. Pretty simple 2-button clasp here. It opens up to a milled clasp. As you can see, you get the Melbourne rotor, which is pretty cool if I get in a little closer. You have a blue kind of hue rotor there on the 9015, which makes it look a bit more luxurious with that blue. You have the striping on the main plate of the 9015 as well. Screw down case back for that 200 meters. And as you can see, those little pins there, you just pop that and the bracelet comes right off. Very easy to change straps on this one, which is very nice. I think it's very clean. Everything looks kind of a bit more luxurious than it should be, I guess. Well, for the price, I say it looks a little bit more luxurious, which is always a good thing. But yeah, anyway, the watch itself, the Loom. So the Loom is pretty strong, I'd say. It's kind of a vintage style green, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let me show you the Loom shot right now. As I was saying, the Loom is a nice green color. If you really look at it, it's really, really bright. Obviously, there's much more room to apply the Loom on the markers in the hands and the actual bezel. But from my view, the bezel is definitely legible at night. And the markers and the hands are definitely evenly applied Loom. So it looks pretty nice. I think they did a good job on the Loom. It matches the aesthetic of the timepiece, which I do appreciate. On my 6.5, 6.75 inch wrist, 46 lug to lug is going to fit me great. I knew that already before even taking it out of the box. The bracelet definitely matches up nicely with the case. The end links are very nicely cut. There's no wiggle room or anything like that. So it's definitely a very well machined watch and case. There are no sharp edges or anything like that, as you can see here. As you can see, everything fits perfectly across my wrist. It definitely conforms very nicely. Definitely a very versatile watch. I'd say you can definitely wear this at the beach or pool, or wear it with a suit. As you know, many people even wear submariners with suits, which is a dive watch. Not many people go diving with that watch, I'd assume. At least I don't. But yeah, definitely a very versatile piece. The bracelet's comfortable. You can also throw this one on a nice rubber strap if you want to go diving with it, I assume. But yeah, definitely can be very, very versatile, watch with a bunch of different straps. I know you guys love to change straps. I do as well. You can throw it on a NATO, you can throw it on a rubber band, a leather band. Everyone has their own unique style. So furthermore, guys, I think for the price, you're getting some nice luxurious things. You're getting the sapphire bezel. You're getting a very well machined case. The quality is very good. Down to the bracelet. You're getting a bracelet that's going to fit a big wrist. I get this question a lot. People that have big wrists. This watch will definitely fit you, even if your wrist is 9.5 inches. This bracelet has a lot of extra room here. You get 3 micro adjustments on that clasp as well. We're getting the Miyota 9015, which looks pretty nice through that exhibition case back. I like what they did with that blue rotor with the applied M logo on it. I think that's really cool. Definitely looks a little bit different than the 9015 when you kind of change things around, right? But yeah, definitely a very decent looking vintage style kind of 50 fathoms bezel style case, which I think is pretty good. I think they did a good job on this release. Some of the other colors are pretty stunning as well if you take a look on their website. I will drop a link in the description below so you can check them out after this video. I think they're making some really cool watches. They definitely do different stuff than other micro-brand, or not micro-brand companies. I don't know if I'd consider them a micro-brand. They do have a lot of different models, and they've been around for quite some time, and they do have a very good reputation. So maybe a smaller brand, I'd call them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. On my end, there were no quality control issues, or I always mention that. Everything functions great. It's keeping great time. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, as usual, of the Melbourne Chelsea, their new dive watch release. I will get back to you down there. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think as usual. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.